So we had to get Joe on the show, especially since my children love this man because they can't get enough Holey Moley. And we will discuss a little bit of that, too.
Yeah.
With Joe Tessitore here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing well, Rich. I'm still trying to, gather what took place Saturday.
I
that
bet.
Was wildly unexpected.
Let me tell you, Joe.
How are you, Rich?
I am doing well, man. It's been a long time since you and I spoke. When I saw that, I had to reach out to you and get you on here because the reaction is appropriate. The reaction that so many people had just seeing and hearing it in your voice, it was just amazing. Walk me through this. Joe, seeing your son out there and then watching him in a big moment of this game.
I mean, listen, it's so abnormal. It just is. Obviously, we've been really blessed that John became the athlete he became and worked very, very hard to be recruited and end up, earning a scholarship to play football at BC. What kind of married up in terms of his football life and my football life is I went off to do Monday Night Football, and I said, well, this is great. I can just watch John on Saturdays in between production meetings and whatnot. I never have to have that pressure of having to worry about, even BC at a time where they were maybe even being good enough to be playing on ABC against the number one team in the country, or that being my assignment. And don't you know, here I am now calling that game. So it put me in a spot. It happened about a month ago. They were playing on ABC against North Carolina, and I really had to pause and ask, how do I handle this assignment? And in that game, Coach Hafley sent him out in the shotgun down 2 on an extra point, potentially going for a conversion. So in that split second, I had to say, oh, my God, Rich, what do I say? What do I do? And it was, Tessitore in the shotgun. Oh, but thankfully he counted numbers. They waved them in. They kicked the extra point. He didn't put me in that spot. And then this weekend, here we are, and it's at Clemson. It's the best team in the country. And all of a sudden, BC's got things going, and now they got some momentum. And he comes out, and he's going to be the holder for the extra point, and he pulls that thing off. So it was – I think what hit us the most is the reaction, because it was genuine, it was authentic, and having gone through the experience of him being in the shotgun against North Carolina, I knew, just say Tessitore, just play it straight, just try to control yourself, just sit there and call the game the way you normally would. But now you can breathe and you can reflect and you realize what happened.
And you having way before you called a game for ESPN. About sportscasting. You've done many highlights in your day as well. You know that sometimes something great happens and the highlight isn't that significant when it is in retrospect because it doesn't lead to a point. It doesn't lead to something. But your son's play led to something significant just later on, which made it even that much more special of a play. Forget about the father-son relationship.
Right.
That had to be pretty cool for you to call that as well, that it led to a pretty nifty touchdown for Boston College as well, just mere moments later.
Yeah, that was cool because it was definitely the high water mark of the game in terms of, holy cow, the number one team in the country is down 18. He pulls that off. It was an amazing momentum surge. And on the very next play, they got him on their heels. The heads are spinning, and they pull off a C.J. Lewis, who's another local Connecticut kid. C.J. grew up 5 minutes away from John. They grew up playing youth sports and scrimmaging against each other.
How cool is that?
Makes this amazing catch. And they're up 18, which I believe our graphics people put in as the largest home deficit a number one team in the country has had since 1950. So it was definitely that moment, the oh, wow moment. But, Rich, really, John and I spoke last night, and I don't know if it's just because what's been going on in our news cycles as a country of what we end up consuming in big-time live events, but it doesn't feel like there's been much in 2020 where things are universally accepted and that communal feeling that sports gives you of watching things on TV where the whole country says, that was good. I feel good about that. Something touched me. But Saturday, that definitely happened with people. And if we played just a small role in that of seeing that love and pride between the father and son, then that makes us really happy.
You did. Joe Tessitore here on the Rich Eisen Show. You definitely did play a role in all that. So hang on a second. So you knew C.J. Lewis, like from youth as well? You knew the kid who caught the touchdown?
Now, strangely, the three nearly consecutive big plays that BC had to get up by 18, the Brandon Sebastian 97-yard fumble return. Brandon's from West Haven, Connecticut, played at John's rival high school, Cheshire Academy. He's a good friend of the family. They have a lot of friends in common, youth basketball, youth football, all the kids playing against each other growing up. CJ's from Hamden, the next town over from us in Wallingford. He's known CJ for years. And then obviously James from Wallingford and went to Choate. They played against each other in high school. They played each other in youth basketball. So the boys have known each other forever, and now they're college teammates, and they had those 3 consecutive big plays to go up on Clemson.
So this is the easiest board you've ever had, maybe in front of you, calling a game, right? You know, you don't have to match up numbers.
I threw my spotter out of the booth, Rich. I said, I don't need you.
You threw your spotter out of the booth because I grew up with these kids. They trick-or-treated at my house, for crying out loud. That is so cool. And again, the moment, let's just spend another couple minutes on this part of our conversation, if you don't mind. When you saw your son after the game, can you share a little bit of that conversation? I know that we saw that photograph of you masked up.
Well,
after.
John is super alpha. John's super alpha and wired a certain way, so he was still hot like a hornet coming out of the locker room, and we were one play away. We could have upset the number 1 team. And so you had to let that simmer down for a little bit.
Sure.
And then I said, are you aware right now that what happened on the field is going mega viral, that there are ESPN push notifications and every website in the world is just touched by what happened? And he's like, no, I didn't realize that. So by the time they got to the BC plane and he was with his phone for about 25 minutes, he texted me and just said, wow.
Great?
But, listen, at that level, it's all about winning or losing for them. It's tough for them to, sit back and think like an individual of what happened. But last night, we had a long talk, and he realized how special it was.
Yeah, and the photograph that we're showing right here is the photograph that was tweeted out. I think the body language actually speaks to what you're saying about Wired differently. There you are in that perfectly manicured or perfectly tailored jacket, pointing at him, hand in pocket, and he's got a fist. He's got a fist balled up like he's in a UFC fight card right there. Yeah. It's like you're weighing in. Yeah. That's what it looks like right there.
Yes. That's the intensity, the beaming pride and emotion of the 49-year-old dad.
Yes.
And the unbridled intensity of the junior in college who just wants to beat Clemson's ass. Yes.
Joe Tessitore here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let's talk a little bit about Clemson, which did pull out the win and is now taking on Notre Dame without Trevor Lawrence. When you spoke to Dabo leading up to this game against Boston College and you saw what happened on the field, walk me through the mood, I guess, or what is going on with that team without Trevor Lawrence due to COVID-19, Joe.
Well, that's not, I got to be honest with you, Rich. When you sit there and you think about life without Trevor Lawrence, you cringe. He's the face of the sport. He's the, undoubted number 1 NFL draft pick to come. And generationally, I really think we're talking about a player that when we reflect on college football history, he's going to be one of those rare guys who fits into 2 boxes that we don't often think of. And that is, we have the great all-time college players. When you say college quarterback, be it a Doug Flutie, a Vince Young, a Tim Tebow, a Johnny Manziel. When you say college quarterback, those iconic kind of guys are all-time great college guys. Then we have the guys, when you think about the greats, that are the no-brainer blue-chip prospect. You can see it coming a mile away, the number 1 pick kind of guys, whether it's an Elway or a Peyton or an Andrew Luck. In Trevor, you have both. You have the guy that's probably going to lead with one of the greatest resumes and those magical, iconic moments that speak to college football, as well as being the guy that since halfway through his freshman year, we all sat back and said, I'm sorry, when is he turning pro? When will that be? Are we still putting a clock on this? So he's that special. But DJ Uiagalelei is not the issue, Rich, because that kid played great on Saturday, and he's a monster. He's 250 pounds. He was the number 1 pocket pass recruit coming out. He can throw it through a brick wall. He's physical. I've heard a lot of people trying to make comparables this weekend as to who he is. Some people said, well, he's got the pure arm talent and strength of Jamarcus Russell. Don't think about the pro version of Russell. Just think about the raw product. He's got a lot of Dante Culpepper in him. He's not the issue. I'm telling you, I know Trevor Lawrence isn't playing, but DJ is going to be fine. That kid athletically can do it. I think one of the issues with them is they're missing some pieces defensively. They're dealing with injuries defensively. And in that first half the other day against BC, you saw what a pretty talented, speedy BC offense was able to do against them. So James Skowski is out at middle linebacker for Clemson. They didn't have Tyler Davis, their starting defensive tackle. They didn't have Mike Jones, who plays that hybrid nickel outside linebacker position. They need to be at health against Notre Dame. Notre Dame's going to try to bully them a bit and try to control that game, and I think it's going to be a fascinating showdown.
Did you get any sense of the storyline that's going on in the NFL that Trevor Lawrence would consider staying put because he wants to avoid the Jets, who have a nice pole position on his services?
No, not at all, Rich. We had a really long visit with Trevor on Wednesday prior to the news of the COVID-positive test. I think Trevor, and I know that one quote he gave last week, Rich, gave people a headline that they could write of, oh, maybe, who knows? And I said to Trevor, I go, were you just saying the obvious that in any aspect of life you never know? He said, yes, very much so. I never want to say something 100% because that's not how life works. You never know what's going to happen. But every expectation and everything is on course for him to be the number one pick. You can put presumptive in quotes.
So before I let you go, Joe, to maintain my best dad ever status that I have here, despite it being considerably threatened by you, I do have to ask you about one of my children's favorite shows in Holey Moley, so I can go home and tell them I asked you. When do we see more of this? Do we get to see more of this? Because I know it might be very different.
We are going to see more of it.
Please, when?
We are, and we're thrilled about that. I know Rob Riggle's a friend of your show, and Rob I think the world of him. I think he's so talented. We were so blessed with what we've been able to do the past couple of years. But yes, you will see more putt the plank and pole-cano. You will even see more of Uranus, Rich Eisen. You will see that. We will be back for another season on ABC. We're excited for that.
Fantastic.
We have so much fun with the show, my man. I'm thrilled that your kids love it. If you ever get the chance when we're out there filming, bring them up to the set.
Oh, Joe.
Play a little mini golf out there.
Joe, again, I may need your help to restore myself best dad ever. I will take you up on that. God willing, we can all do that soon enough. I'll tell you, love is not the word. The pole-cano may make us laugh as a family hardest, like together. We have had like gut busting laughs watching that. Yeah. In Holey Moley, or obviously the port-a-potty doors opening up and hitting people and knocking them.
Number 2, I believe. Number 2, which rivals most of the whole show at Augusta.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you. And again, the thing I gush over the show because not only is it's so great for the whole family, is that I'll walk you through it. I just love just the whacked out scene, with everybody going crazy and those holes being just. Played up in a very big fashion. You gotta love John Lovitz coming out with an eye patch and hitting some shots.
Sometimes two eye
patches. Just I love all of that. Riggle's hilarious, and then there's you, Joe. And we call it here on the show a little shot of Tessitore, which we almost named our fantasy team name because that's what I said. Still, and we have actually a graphic we have up on the screen. It's you in a shot glass. Your face, you're just it's you. And just you're having fun, you're playing it up, you're camping it up, but it seems that you're genuinely laughing, like you can't hold it in.
Oh my! Oh, we did. Listen, and ask Rob. It's Best in Show meets a bromance with a little bit of Borat comedy docuseries. So when we get on that set, they just start rolling and they don't stop.
Yeah.
And we don't stop. We just go and go and go until we're lacking oxygen to our brain at about 4 in the morning. And that's about 90% of what makes ABC is what they film from about 2 in the morning till 5 in the morning when the two of us are delirious. But we cannot get enough of it. And once again, with what you and I have done for most of our careers, you're sitting there. I'm sitting there on Monday Night Football. I'm doing an ABC college football game, and I'm calling a championship fight where we've got to be so dialed in and so wired. And if you take one misstep, Twitter blows up. Forget all that. Just laugh. Just enjoy Steve Gutenberg losing his mind and wanting to climb over the set to fight a diver in a hot tub. Just lose your mind. Like we don't care. We laugh our asses off and we cannot get enough. We have people riding mechanical gophers, Rich. I'm broadcasting on ABC somebody on a mechanical gopher. Think about this.
By the way, this is not some Mad Lib you're making up. No, these are all actual facts, including, if not...
This actually happens.
At one point, I think you spotted Zac Efron in a hoodie in the crowd, right? That happened.
Josh Duhamel showed up.
That's right. He's joined the booth.
And he just shows up. He loves the show, shows up. He's rooting on one of his buddies who was a contestant. Yeah. Josh Duhamel. Yeah. I mean, these guys are tailgating. They're tailgating for Holey Moley. They're having the time of their lives. We cannot laugh more than when we are on that set. We love it. Riggle and I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's so great.
The Gutenberg bit with the kid who's actually a diver, and then everyone else just belly flops and they get 9s is the greatest thing ever.
The Gutenberg losing his absolute mind.
Loses his mind.
I mean, seriously.
And Greg Louganis is like, it's awesome.
I mean, you got to hang out in the trailers for this show. I mean, behind the scenes is absurdity. I mean, it's just, that's what I like about it. I love the fact that America has embraced now for 2 years the pure absurdity of it. It's great.
So it's more is coming then, right? When?
Yes.
When, Joe?
Yes,
when do we get more?
Yes. No. We will be on ABC in 2021.
Okay,
We're ready to rock and roll.
Fantastic.
So look forward to it. Somewhere late, mid to late spring, you will have Holey Moley back rocking and rolling from everything we're being told.
I cannot wait, and I appreciate that invite. I appreciate you calling up and taking the invite to appear here. And congrats on that moment, man. Just great.
Thank you so much. Nice to share some time with you.
Fantastic. Right back at you. That's Joe Tessitore. Thanks for the call, Joe Tess, right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.